Helen always brushed it off. Just age, just dryness, just another day. But when a strange red patch wouldn't fade, and her energy dipped for no reason, something told her this wasn't ordinary. She didn't listen, until her doctor said, "You should have called me 2 days ago." Today we'll walk through 5 body signals women over 70 must never ignore, including one that means you'll need a doctor within 48 hours. Let's begin with the one Helen dismissed first, her skin. That patch that wouldn't go away. Helen remembered her gardening gloves. She remembered her tea, but she forgot the spot on her forearm. Again, it had been there for weeks. Not painful, not itchy, just there. A faint, reddish-brown patch that looked like a birthmark she didn't remember having. "That's new," her friend Ruth said over lunch, gently tapping Helen's arm. "You ever have that looked at?" Helen smiled and shook her head. "Probably just dryness. I'll put some cream on it." But it wasn't dryness. For women over 70, our skin is often our early warning system. As collagen thins, our outermost shield becomes translucent, revealing more than just veins and sunspots. It reveals our inner state. A small patch of discolored skin may seem like nothing, but it can point to changes in circulation, inflammation, or even blood sugar fluctuations. If it doesn't fade, scabs without a cause, or bruises more easily than it used to, it's not just aging. It's a conversation your body is quietly starting. Why does this matter emotionally? Because many of us grew up being taught to ignore small things, to be polite, not to complain, but that habit formed out of grace and grit can sometimes leave us overlooking signals that matter. Paying attention isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Keep a skin map, use a small notebook, or even your daily planner. Each month, jot down any new spots, patches, or bruises. Note how long they last, and whether they change. Use the 2-week rule. If it stays longer than 14 days without fading, let your doctor decide, not your lotion bottle. Switch to fragrance-free moisturizers. Some reactions are actually due to irritants in perfumed creams we've trusted for decades. Check labels, and simplify your skincare. Helen finally brought up the patch at her checkup. It turned out to be a small vascular issue, harmless, but it led to a gentle screening that caught her prediabetes. That's what real listening to your body does. It connects the dots before they become danger signs. And if you've ever looked at your skin and wondered, was this always here? You're not alone. 2. When the bruises come without bumping anything. Lorraine always prided herself on being graceful. At 78, she still floated through her kitchen in house slippers, like a dancer. But lately she'd noticed more bruises on her arms and legs, deep purple and yellow blooms, with no memory of how they got there. "It's strange," she murmured to her son on the phone. "I don't remember bumping into anything." That's because she hadn't. As estrogen declines and vessels become more fragile, unexpected bruising can be a sign of poor capillary strength, medication side effects, or even an early sign of blood clotting issues. If bruises appear more frequently, especially in softer areas like thighs or forearms, it's time to look closer. But here's why this emotionally matters. Bruises carry shame. They whisper, "You weren't careful," or "You're falling apart," and that couldn't be further from the truth. Noticing your body doesn't make you frail. It makes you informed. Check your supplements: fish oil, ginkgo, turmeric. Many of the things we take for brain and heart health can also thin the blood and cause easy bruising. Eat for vessel strength. Increase intake of vitamin C, citrus, red peppers, and bioflavonoids, berries, leafy greens. These don't just brighten your plate, they reinforce your capillaries. Try the pillow test. If you notice bruising where there was pressure from sleeping on your arm or leg, it's time for a vascular check. Lorraine's bruises led her to reduce one supplement and add 2 servings of spinach a week. Within a month, the bruising slowed, and so did her worry. She didn't need fear, she needed information she could act on. 3. The skin that felt like paper. There was a day when Margaret reached for her garden trowel and felt a sting on her hand. She looked down to find her skin had torn just from gripping the handle too tightly. It scared her more than she let on. "I'm falling apart," she whispered to her mirror, but she wasn't. Thinning skin is common post-70, but excessive fragility isn't just old skin. It can be related to long-term steroid use, sun damage, or nutrient deficiencies, like low protein or zinc. And emotionally, it's the invisibility that hurts most. When your body starts to feel unfamiliar, it can feel like you're disappearing inside it. This is where you take the reins back. Gentle hand workouts, using a soft stress ball, or rolling a towel strengthens grip and blood flow, supporting tissue integrity. Omega-3s and hydration. Dry, tearing skin is often the result of internal dehydration, not just lotion neglect. Drink more water than you think you need. Cover in the garden. Gardening gloves, with cotton liners, reduce micro tears. Think of it not as protection, but as respect for all your skin has carried you through. Margaret began moisturizing after every dishwashing session, and now wears gloves, even to fold laundry. She no longer feels fragile. She feels prepared. It's incredible how many of us treat our skin like wallpaper, something to cover and ignore. But it's more like your dashboard, and the lights are blinking. What's one skin change you've noticed but brushed off? Let's talk in the comments. Your story might help another woman notice her own. Helen always brushed it off. Just age, just dryness, just another day. But when a strange red patch wouldn't fade, and her energy dipped for no reason, something told her this wasn't ordinary. She didn't listen, until her doctor said, "You should have called me 2 days ago." Today we'll walk through 5 body signals women over 70 must never ignore, including one that means you'll need a doctor within 48 hours. Let's begin with the one Helen dismissed first, her skin. 4. The day her mirror told the truth. Helen's daughter was sorting through old photographs, those sweet sun-drenched Polaroids from the 80s, when she paused puzzled. "Mom, weren't you taller than Aunt Lisa?" Helen chuckled, brushing it off. "I've shrunk a little, that's all." But later that evening, standing in front of the full-length mirror, she really looked. Her spine curved just slightly forward. Her reflection didn't match her memory. What she'd assumed was just a slouch turned out to be something far more important. A signal from her bones. Losing more than an inch or 2 in height can be a sign of spinal compression, early-stage osteoporosis, or vertebral fractures, all of which quietly affect posture long before pain begins. This isn't just about bone density, it's about how you carry yourself in the world, how you feel when you walk into a room, when you meet someone's eyes, when you put on a necklace and it sits differently than it used to. Here's the hard truth. Many women think that once we reach our 70s, standing tall is no longer part of the picture. But that's not true. You deserve to take up space, fully upright and with pride. The doorway test. Stand in a doorway with your back, heels and head touching the frame. If you can't, or if it feels uncomfortable, your posture might be shifting more than you realize. Start with one stretch. A simple wall press, where you push your palms into the wall while keeping your back straight, helps reactivate your postural muscles. Do it while waiting for your tea to steep. Check your sleep setup. A pillow that's too thick or thin can nudge your neck into poor alignment for hours each night. A small neck roll or orthopedic pillow can make a world of difference. Helen didn't just want to stand tall again. She wanted to feel like herself again. And that's what noticing this signal gave her. Not just better posture, but a return to confidence she thought was gone. 5. I just don't feel like eating lately. A warning whisper. Lorraine used to love breakfast. Toast with raspberry jam, a soft-boiled egg, maybe a slice of cheddar on the side. But recently, mornings felt empty. Food didn't sound good. Not because she was full or nauseated, just indifferent. She assumed it was just part of aging. But then came the exhaustion. She'd need to lie down after folding 2 towels. Her energy vanished like steam from a kettle. This was not just getting older. Loss of appetite paired with low energy can indicate inflammation, underlying infection, electrolyte imbalance, or early signs of kidney or liver strain. And here's where it gets urgent. If this combo continues for more than 48 hours, call your doctor. Why does this emotionally matter? Because appetite is often tied to joy, to family dinners, Sunday rituals, even the smell of cinnamon on toast. When we lose our hunger, it's not just physical. It feels like a little piece of life has dimmed. Too many women chalk it up to slowing down, but that thinking can delay attention until something more serious emerges. Keep a 48-hour tracker. Draw 3 circles on a notepad for each day, morning, afternoon, evening. Fill them in if you've eaten something with protein, hydration, and color like a piece of fruit or veggie. If you've got empty circles for 2 days, time to call your care provider. Try the nibble rule. Even if you're not hungry, nibble on something small every 3-4 hours. A few almonds, yogurt, or a boiled egg. Small bites keep your body's internal sensors engaged. Use flavor triggers. Lemon, ginger, cinnamon. These can help reawaken a fading appetite. Add them to warm water or light soups. Lorraine's doctor caught a low-grade urinary infection that hadn't shown any pain, just fatigue and appetite changes. Catching it early meant no hospitalization, no drama, just healing, and more importantly, Lorraine's back to raspberry jam with extra cinnamon. 6. The power of a tiny stretch. One morning, Helen knelt to pick up a sock. She paused mid-motion. "Oof," she muttered, placing a hand on her lower back. It wasn't pain, it was a heaviness, a sense that something was stalling inside her hips and spine. Then she stood up and felt it, a small wobble. She straightened. It went away. This was her body's subtle whisper. I need movement. As women, especially in our 70s and beyond, we often prioritize rest because we've earned it. But there's a difference between restful and static. A lack of spinal movement over time can actually contribute to vertebral compression, muscle stiffness, and poor balance. And that sense of balance? It's deeply emotional. When you feel off balance physically, it can quietly affect how grounded you feel emotionally. Doubts creep in. Should I be walking less? Can I still go to that yoga class? Is this the start of the end? Absolutely not. It's the start of attention. Begin with the sock stretch. Before you get out of bed, lie flat and hug one knee gently to your chest, then the other. Repeat twice. It keeps the hip flexors engaged and relieves early morning spinal pressure. Plant to floor test. Sit in a sturdy chair, place your feet flat, and rise slowly without using your hands. This simple test strengthens core balance, and doing it daily can reduce fall risk by over 20%. Place a reminder prop. Helen uses a bright pink sock draped over her bathroom doorknob. It's her cue to do a 1-minute stretch before brushing her teeth. Simple, visual, and effective. That tiny sock? It's a small thing, but to Helen, it means readiness. It means she's not waiting for problems to grow, she's meeting them gently and gracefully. Before they take root, some signs are loud, others whisper. But the more we listen, the more we learn how deeply our bodies still want to protect us, even now. Have you ever noticed a shift in your posture or energy, but hesitated to act on it? Let us know in the comments. Your story might be the nudge someone else needs today. 7. Talking to yourself at night. Without knowing it, Margaret was up again. Just for a moment, she thought. A drink of water. Maybe to check the window. She padded through the dark house quietly. But the next morning, her daughter, who'd been staying over, asked gently, "Who were you talking to last night?" Margaret blinked. I wasn't talking to anyone, yet she had been. Soft muttering, fragments of sentences, nothing frightening, nothing coherent, but something. This is one of those signs that doesn't scream. It whispers. It often happens without us knowing. A half conversation, with no audience. Maybe you're voicing a thought you'd usually keep inside. Maybe you're replaying a moment from years ago. Either way, your mind has slipped into an old habit, narrating your thoughts aloud. And here's the part that hits hardest. It can feel like losing the elegant silence we've spent years cultivating. Many older women pride themselves on grace, discretion, and dignity. Talking to yourself in the night, especially unknowingly, can feel like slipping out of control. But it's not a sign of madness, it's a sign of a brain trying to release pressure through speech. Night muttering can be tied to mild cognitive disinhibition, where the brain loosens its usual internal filters while half asleep. It's most likely to happen during transitions between deep sleep and lighter sleep stages, especially if the mind is wrestling with unresolved thoughts. First, offer yourself gentleness. This isn't something to fix, it's something to gently observe. If it continues, try placing a small voice recorder near your bed for a few nights. It's not about surveillance, it's about curiosity. Listen back in the morning. Was it chatter? Was it mumbling? Was it dreaming out loud? Then try this before bed. Speak out your day. Just 5 minutes. Sit on the edge of the bed and say it aloud like a story. Today I called Emily. I made soup. I remembered that silly trip to Brighton. This exercise helps release thoughts before sleep steals the gate key. Emotionally, this small habit gives you back your sense of intentionality. Your voice is yours, and when it's used with purpose, even softly at night, it becomes a friend again. 8. Dreams so vivid, they linger, but not in a good way. Some dreams are gentle, like a breeze lifting old curtains. Others, they stick. They don't just visit, they haunt. Margaret had one last week. Her late husband appeared, but it wasn't peaceful. He was angry, confused, saying things he never would have said in life. She woke shaken, palms damp, breath caught in her throat. Even hours later, she felt fragile, unsteady on emotional legs. Vivid, emotionally intense dreams become more common as the brain processes older memories that haven't been fully stored or resolved. Often, they resurface at night, when your emotional guard is down, especially for women who've always prioritized everyone else's feelings over their own. These dreams are more than just bad sleep. For women like Margaret, and perhaps like you, these nights can stir unresolved grief, past conflicts, or lingering regrets. And because no one else sees them, it can feel like suffering alone in a quiet storm. REM sleep, where dreams occur, is emotionally charged. As we age, the filter on emotional regulation in dreams begins to wear down. The result? Dreams that are more vivid, more intense, and often more personally symbolic. Create a morning debrief habit. Keep a box of blank index cards near your breakfast area. Not a journal, just single cards. After a strong dream, jot down what you remember on one. Not the whole dream, just one phrase, one emotion, one color. Then flip the card over. On the back, write one grounding fact. I am safe. That was just a dream. He never spoke to me that way. This creates a boundary. Your dream doesn't own the rest of your day. The emotional reward here is massive. It's not about erasing the feelings. It's about reminding your waking self that you are still the author of your mornings, even when your nights surprise you. 9. Blurring the line between dream and memory. I told Susan about the blue vase she gave me. Margaret said, sipping her tea. Her daughter paused. Mum, I never gave you a vase. Margaret's smile faded. She was certain she had that conversation, could picture it. But slowly, realization crept in. It must have been a dream. This one sneaks in softly. You remember something as fact until it gently unravels. You confuse a dream's logic with morning reality, and when someone corrects you, it stings. You feel silly, exposed. Women are memory keepers. We recall birthdays, recipes, the exact tone of a loved one's laugh. So when memory becomes slippery, even slightly, it threatens the stories we've held for everyone else. As we age, the brain's ability to separate episodic memory, things that really happen from imagined or dream material, weakens. This is partly due to the hippocampus and frontal lobes slowing down communication during REM sleep. That means dreams can become imprinted like memories. Start a simple 2-column notebook. Label the first column dream, and the second memory. Each morning, if something feels foggy, write it down, then leave it. Later in the day, revisit it. Can someone confirm it? Can you recall where it happened? Or just that it happened? No judgment. No shame. You're just collecting stories and sorting them into baskets. The emotional payoff, enormous. You give yourself permission to wonder, without feeling embarrassed. You honor the mystery of your mind, while gently organizing what stays and what's simply visited. These signs aren't mistakes. They're signals, clues that your brain is still alive, still adapting, still holding on to threads of a life richly lived. Noticing them doesn't mean decline. It means wisdom in action. Have you ever had a dream that stayed with you too long, or blurred into a memory? Share your story in the comments. I'd be honored to read it. 10. The breath that took too long to come back. It happened on a Tuesday. Helen was walking back from the mailbox, just a short stroll across her driveway. No hills, no stairs, but halfway there she had to stop. Her breath caught, and her heart thudded harder than usual. It wasn't pain, just effort. She chalked it up to the warm weather. I probably should have had more water, she mumbled, fanning herself on the porch. But deep down, something felt off. She hadn't felt that winded in years. Breathlessness, especially when it shows up during ordinary activities like dressing, talking, or walking, is a sign that something inside is demanding attention. It could be a symptom of anemia, arrhythmia, fluid retention, or even silent cardiac strain. The scariest part? It rarely announces itself with drama. It just creeps in, and stays, and emotionally, let's be honest, few things feel more vulnerable than gasping for air. Breathing is constant, involuntary, dependable. When that changes, we begin to doubt our independence. Will I make it across the parking lot? Should I stop going out alone? That doubt weighs heavier than any diagnosis. Try the talk test. Walk across a room while reciting the first verse of a favorite hymn or nursery rhyme. If you lose your breath before you finish, track that moment. Sit with your breath. Twice a day, close your eyes, and take 5 slow, deep breaths. Not only does this train lung expansion, it also helps you become aware of shallow breathing patterns. Elevate your head during sleep. If breathlessness is worse at night, or first thing in the morning, try a wedge pillow, or stack of 2 to 3 pillows. Lying flat can worsen heart-related fluid shifts. Helen started keeping a small journal next to her chair. A few lines each day about her walk, her breath, her energy. It became more than just data. It became a map back to trust in her body. 11. The can't quite see right moment. Lorraine was halfway through her puzzle when she realized something didn't line up, literally. The edge pieces didn't quite connect. She rubbed her eyes, stood up, and squinted. The room felt a little off balance. I think I just need my glasses cleaned, she said. But by the next day, the issue remained. Objects looked fuzzier. Straight lines wobbled. Light felt too bright. Vision changes that appear suddenly, or worsen quickly, can be a symptom of macular degeneration, glaucoma, or even silent strokes that affect the brain's visual center. For women in their 70s, this isn't just about eyesight, it's about safety, reading labels, stepping off curbs, recognizing familiar faces. When sight dims, confidence dims right along with it. But here's why this matters emotionally. Eyesight isn't just functional, it's intimate. It's how we connect. Seeing a grandchild's smile clearly, reading a cherished letter in familiar handwriting. These moments fuel our joy. Losing clarity, even briefly, feels like losing part of ourselves. The doorframe check. Look at a doorframe or window pane. Do the lines appear wavy or distorted? If so, that's a red flag, especially if it's only in one eye. Keep a vision chart on your fridge. A simple Amsler grid can be printed and checked weekly. It takes 10 seconds, and can catch early macular issues. Take screen breaks. Extended phone or TV use without breaks can mask early symptoms. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds. Lorraine's visit to her optometrist revealed a minor change, early dry macular degeneration, but it was caught early enough to adjust her nutrition and lighting at home. She even swapped her old lamp for a soft full-spectrum one that made her puzzles glow again. 12. The why am I this cold? Question. Helen stood in the sun. Full light, light sweater, and still her fingertips were chilly, her feet too, even wrapped in socks and blankets. She felt like winter clung to her skin. She laughed it off to her friend on the phone. Maybe I'm turning into a snow woman. But a few days later she realized her nails were slightly bluish, and that changed everything. Feeling cold constantly, especially in the extremities, can signal thyroid issues, poor circulation, or early signs of anemia or heart inefficiency. And when your body temperature shifts without reason, it's a sign that your internal regulation system might be flagging. This one tugs at something deeper than health. It touches our emotional center. Warmth is comfort. It's memories of cocoa, cozy socks, soft blankets, shared fireside laughs. When you feel cold in warm places, it can trigger unease, a whisper of something isn't right. Color check. Are your fingertips or toes pale, bluish, or slow to regain color after pressure? If so, take a note and share it with your doctor. Pulse warming walk. A 5-minute brisk march around the living room. Yes, even in slippers can boost circulation and help you test if movement restores warmth. Check your layers. Use natural fibers like wool or cotton closest to the skin. Synthetics can trap cold against the body. Helen began drinking warm lemon water each morning and added a few iron-rich foods like lentils and pumpkin seeds to her meals. She no longer wrapped up like it was mid-January in June, and best of all, she felt more present, more here. Sometimes it's not pain that warns us, it's quiet shifts, a breath too short, a chill too strong, a blur that shouldn't be. These are not inconveniences, they are invitations to care for ourselves. Have you ever brushed off something like unusual tiredness or blurred sight until it repeated? Share your story in the comments. We're all learning from each other. 13. The hands that just didn't feel like hers. Lorraine always had pepper hands, as her late husband used to call them, quick to season, to sew, to comfort. But lately she'd noticed her grip wasn't what it used to be. The teacup slipped slightly, the key to the back door turned slower. One afternoon, trying to peel a potato, she found her hand trembling slightly, not with cold, not with fear, but with fatigue. She paused, sat back, and listened. Loss of hand strength can be a subtle sign of neurological shift, early arthritis, or muscular degeneration, but more than that, it can quietly change how we interact with the world. When hands struggle, routines falter, hugs hesitate, creativity pauses, and that touches something deeper than joints. It touches identity. Here's why this matters. For many of us, our hands tell our story. They've held babies, stitched hems, planted gardens. When they begin to feel unfamiliar, it's more than frustrating. It's deeply emotional. That's why this signal deserves attention, not dismissal. The twist test. Try opening a soft drink bottle, or twisting a jar lid with your usual hand. If you notice difficulty or a mild shake, that's a cue, not a crisis, but a whisper to check in. Try hand yoga. Light finger stretches and pressing palms flat on a table can strengthen muscles without strain. Do it while waiting for your kettle to boil. Track grip over time. Squeeze a soft ball or rolled towel for 5 seconds a day. Note if one hand feels weaker over a few weeks. If it does, time to chat with your doctor. Lorraine added this 1-minute routine before breakfast, and just the act of doing something rekindled a spark of power. Her hands weren't failing her, they were asking for help. 14. The belly that suddenly felt strange. Helen had always had a calm stomach. She could eat a sandwich on a boat in choppy water and not feel a thing. But recently she started waking up with a strange tightness in her belly. No sharp pain, just a pressure, like something was quietly pushing back from the inside. It didn't stop her day, but it shadowed it, and by the end of the week, it brought bloating and a strange urge to skip meals. Mild digestive discomfort is common, but when it shifts patterns or shows up with new symptoms, it can point to issues like intestinal inflammation, liver strain, or even early signs of gallbladder trouble, especially for women over 70. We often dismiss these early signs as just something I ate, but when your own body starts behaving out of character, it's time to pay attention. This matters emotionally, because food isn't just fuel, it's memory, celebration, ritual. When your stomach begins to feel like a stranger, it can take joy with it. That's not just about comfort, that's about connection to your past, to your rhythms, to others. Keep a meal symptom map. Draw a line down a notebook page, left side for meals, right side for how your stomach feels 2 hours later. Patterns will show themselves. Add bitter greens. A small handful of arugula or dandelion greens before dinner can wake up sluggish digestion and reduce post-meal bloating. Gentle movement after meals. A short walk, even 10 steps in the hallway, helps prevent gas buildup and improves digestive rhythm. Helen started sipping warm fennel tea. After lunch, she felt calmer, clearer, and more in control of what her body was saying. The silence was gone. There was communication. 15. The whisper at the edge of awareness. Sometimes it's not a clear pain or a defined symptom. Sometimes it's just a feeling, a vague heaviness, a not quite right mood that lingers. Margaret, a friend of both Helen and Lorraine, described it as a hush in her body. She wasn't sad, not dizzy, not ill, but she felt disconnected, like a dial had been turned slightly down inside her. She'd stop mid-sentence, lose track of the point, or forget what she'd opened the drawer for. At first, she worried about memory loss. Then she blamed the weather. But eventually, she mentioned it to her physician, who tested her B12, iron, and hydration levels. All were low, just low enough to fog the mind and dim the energy. This matters deeply, because our clarity, our sharpness, is often what keeps us socially confident. When that begins to slip, we withdraw, we question ourselves, we apologize too much, we fade when we're meant to shine. Hydration check. Sip a glass of water, first thing in the morning. Fatigue and mild cognitive fog are often symptoms of dehydration, not aging. Power nutrient snack. Mix a few walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and dried blueberries. Snack once in the late afternoon. This combo boosts iron, zinc, and brain-friendly fats. Walk and recall. During your daily stroll, say out loud the items on your grocery list or a favorite poem. This light working memory practice keeps neural connections fresh. Margaret now keeps a small dry erase board by her fridge. Each morning, she writes something she's looking forward to. It grounds her. It reminds her she's still her, just evolving. Sometimes, our bodies don't sound alarms. They send invitations. Quiet, personal, deeply familiar invitations to care, to notice, to respond. Which of these signals have you experienced recently, or perhaps ignored until now? Let us know in the comments. Someone else might see themselves in your story. So, next time your elbow whispers or your ankles throw shade, don't just shrug it off like last week's leftovers. Your body's not nagging, it's nudging. Listen to it, love it, log it. Drop your aha moments in the comments below. Someone out there needs your story more than you think.